Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good
How is it?
morning.
How is everyone?
Freezing.
It is, I mean, my house is 64. That's what and we got the heat's been turning on. Morning, Sandra. How are you?
Good. It's warm here.
I thought you heard that and went, no.
Yeah. I have my air conditioning.
When you grew up in all that type of weather, didn't you? In colder weather?
Of course, I just came back from Ireland, so
Yeah. So you're used to all the cold and the rain and
yes.
everything that Phoenix doesn't have.
We were lucky though. It was very sunny when we were over there. So
Good. So this looks like kind of a chill, smaller crew, and actually, it's you guys I know have all kind of been playing with it to an extent. Christy, I know you're just kind of starting to dip your toes into some of this stuff. So no worries.
Okay.
But so I kind of wanted to go over the listing presentations, and I wanted us to take a look at Design Center today. Sandra, I know you've used the CMA builder on here a few times. Debbie, I know you actually use it like every now and then. You use it for most of your clients, correct?
Yeah, I use it for all my listings. I like it.
It's awesome, right?
I like the fact that when you send it, email it, they can click on the page where it shows all the listings. They can click on it, they can see all the pictures and everything. I really like that. And even when I print it off, it prints off the pictures, so that's nice.
Yeah, the pictures on it are all really nice. And I don't know if you've gotten a chance to look at like some of the analytics for it yet, but because you send it off so frequently, you're actually able to check out the analytics and it will show you each specific page and each specific picture and link that they click on. So it'll tell you how much they look at it and all that type of stuff. So I'll kind of show
That
you
is
where that's at.
awesome.
It's really cool.
Wow.
So
Right.
here,
No, I
actually,
love that. Yeah.
yeah.
It tells me every time they open it, it tells me.
Yep. Here, let's see. All right. So just before we get too into it, I'll start even at the basic, Christy, so you can see how we actually get here.
Okay.
But just what we were talking about with that tracking, if I click on this, so I haven't actually sent any off. So my analytics are always going to be a little bit wonky compared to your guys's, because as we know, I'm not a real agent with real clients. So I don't send things as often. And if I do, I usually send them to myself. So I also very
So
rarely
your
actually
open rate
click
is
on them.
excellent.
Yeah, well, the irony is it's either excellent or it's also really bad. um, but yeah, so you'll be able to see the analytics for all of them. You can open them even further. And I can actually click update and change things about it and reuse the CMA again if I want to. So everything that you're able to do on this is just really, really helpful. It's got a ton of different features. Oh, we got some more people still rolling in. So welcome everybody that's just joining us. I was explaining real quick, we're actually just looking at some of the analytics that you can do for the CMA builder. But we're also going to go over how to build a CMA, and then we're going to look at some of the new stuff in Design Center. Design Center is a lot, so I don't want to be too overwhelming. Each one of these, I would recommend just playing with one section for a day. So we're going to start with the CMA because, again, some of you guys have been using it and really enjoying it. Hi, Annette. Sorry to put you on the spot. I think have you been using Core Present by chance, or have you used the CMA builder on it?
Who are you talking to?
You.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or wait, no, not you, Debbie. Lynette. Here you go,
Oh.
Lynette.
I don't know how to find it. I want to be able to use it because I've been using Cloud CMA. And so, yeah, I'll be, in fact, I was going to reply to your email and say, I need help.
Well, here we go. So I was just showing the analytics for that real quick, but actually let's start, to your point, let's start at 0. So let's pretend I don't know how to even just get into KV Core. So from 0 and from my starting point, I'm going to go sign into Mac Center at remax.net. And then I can click on apps or tools. I have mine always put up to the top right here by favoriting it. but I'll click on apps and tools right here. And then I'm going to go actually into the one that says platform KV Core. There we go. Max Tech powered by KV Core. And it'll load up. And as always, mine's going to look a little bit different than your guys's simply because I have a bunch of admin stuff going on. All right, let it just load up real quick. And welcome everybody again that's just joining us. So what I'm doing real quick is I'm going to KV Core through our Max Sensor apps, and I'm clicking on the platform for KV Core and then letting it load up before I'm going to the CMA builder. So from here, everything is actually going to live in marketing right here on the left-hand side. So I can either hover over it and then click on these buttons to take me to it, or if I just click on the actual general button right here for marketing, it's going to give me all of my options for it. And these are a whole bunch of settings that are actually very good to get to. This is where you can control little things like animated or automated birthdays and anniversaries, as well as your hashtag management. So this is just a good page to know about, is this general marketing button, because you've got a good amount of your settings and stuff in here that you're probably going to have to use. And then from here, I'm actually going to click on Core Present, which is the first option right here. I'm going to click Get Started. And there are two ways to use the CMA builder. So some folks like Debbie that have been using it a lot, it's very similar to if you've been using the search alerts or any of the property alerts. So you can either go directly into a client and send them a specific one on a property that they already have. So if I go in here and I click on one of mine, and it has to be somebody with an actual property. Hopefully this is one that has my address on it. It does. So if I go on the right-hand side right here, and I can see all the things that I can actually set them on. These are my actions that I'm able to take in the client. So this is what's called the client record. If I go down here a little bit, I can actually hit add and start creating a presentation for them directly into it. And this will just get it immediately set up for that client. So again, if you have somebody that's thinking about selling, the easiest way to create them a seller presentation is to just go in here and click add, because then it'll actually put their address and all of their info as the automated one that it's going to be pulling from. But for this presentation, and because I don't have as many leads and people with actual addresses, I'm going to do the generic version, which is where I just go into marketing and then I actually just click Core Present. And I can still get the specifics for that listing by just putting in an MLS or just manually putting in the info for it. But again, if I wanted to do it for one specific client, I would do it directly in their record so that it just automatically populates with their info, their address, the comps that are associated with their address, and all of their name and their actual info that will then populate throughout the rest of the presentation. So again, I can see my analytics below. But the first thing that we're going to do is we're just going to click on one of these buttons. So they all do something kind of different. The first two actually more or less do the same thing. They just set it up differently for buyer, for seller, but I can also click that when I'm actually in the presentation maker. And then the present info is a useful little button if you don't feel like getting into all the hyper specifics of a actual listing address. So I can make just a general, oh, that's because I just did one. So you can actually just make a generalized core CMA that doesn't have any specifics of comps and it doesn't have any MLS data or anything like that. So you can just download kind of just the generic pages that say what you're able to do and what you are able to market and all that type of stuff. So it'll pop up just immediately, already made. There's just a whole bunch of sold ones. I can see it's got 15 slides, and these are just generalized information slides that you can use. And you don't have to put any type of specifics for any of these. So this is just a really fast one right away that you can use.
And Alex, those are not customizable pages, right?
I think actually most of them are. So I can click in here and I can click theme and I can change the themes of them. But when I'm going into the edits for everything, you should be able to edit almost everything. These ones you probably can't with this type of stuff because these are just general kind of stats and specifics that it's using. Like, so this one, you wouldn't be doing anything within this page, and there's nothing that you would need to customize because these are just generalized stats. So to your point, anything that you would need to customize, you are able to. And when we're in the actual CMA builder for it, we'll build one from scratch, and you can see some of the customization for it, which we'll actually just start that. So in order to start creating one, you'll hit either win the listing or win the offer. They're both going to take you to the CMA builder, so you're okay either way. And then the first thing that they do is ask for an address. Again, I can skip this if I want to make a more generalized one, but I actually have an MLS and an address pulled up. I'm using one at Juniors. I could use one of your guys's and build you a CMA out from it, but it brands it automatically to me making it. So it wouldn't do me much good to create a CMA for one of your guys' listings to give to you, because then it would just have all of my info and everything on it. So I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to go ahead and take the property address. And again, if I was doing this just directly into them, into their contact record, then I wouldn't have to fill all this in because it would just automatically do it. So I'm going to copy it, put it in, and hit next. Seeing it wants me to enter the manual ones. So we can just do that. I don't want to enter the comps. Let's see if I can pull up one of the, I guess I will make one of your guys. Does somebody have a listing address that they can toss me real quick? All right, Lynette, what do you got?
Here, I'll put it in the chat for you real quick here.
Perfect, thank you. You know I like to copy and paste.
I know, right? Yeah. Yeah, this is the reload company one, so.
Cool.
I guess you don't really need a zip code.
Thank you. Let's see. See, why isn't that one? I'm kind of worried that I've been doing too much into it the last like day or two.
Oh, no, I don't know why I had Providence. What do you have to put state? Why does it have not have state?
It's because it looks like it's trying to auto populate me to Canada.
Yeah.
Province. Does it think I'm in Canada?
It must.
Huh.
Because I pulled it up on my screen and it came up.
It's pulling at you all the comps and everything.
No, I didn't. I haven't gone that far because I was waiting for you.
That's fair. Yeah, so for whatever reason, it seems to be thinking I'm in Canada for today. Probably because I was doing too much in it yesterday. Well, that's unfortunate. Let's see if I can go to one. I can probably do it directly into my builder or into my contact.
I can probably find you one if you give me a second that I'm about to list.
Yeah, I think the issue is that it's putting me in Canada right now. Let's see if it'll just populate it for me for this. There we go. Okay, so it's mine. It doesn't like it because it's up here in Flagstaff, and that's okay. We'll do this, and then I'll just kind of fill out some of the manual stuff, and then it'll start filling it in for me. There we go. See? All right. So once I get past the actual putting all the info in and everything. So again, I just went to mine because it wasn't liking that I was in Canada, but it was able to find it directly with my address. So the first thing that it starts popping up is all the actual comps on it. And then it's all color coded. So it's got coming soon matches, active matches, and then sold matches. Any of the ones that look kind of funky like this, where it's like red and gray, it means it's not an identical match, but it is something that you're able to add to your presentation. So from here, this is where I can actually really start customizing a whole bunch of stuff for this. So I can click on this and I can add it to the comps if I want to, even though it's not actually one, but it's in the area. I can look at other ones that are directly to it and I can add them to it. So that's not within the general area, but I still want to add it in. And then I can actually go through here and just start making sure. So these ones are all going to be included. This one I'm not going to, just because it's really far out of everything. And then I'll toss in a couple of these other ones that are good. It's interesting that it thinks that that's a comp.
Does it determine the radius, Alex, or did you? I had a dog problem there, so I missed a tiny bit. But did you determine the radius, or does it predetermine it?
It automatically predetermines it, but I can just switch it right here. So if I actually
Okay.
look, it's actually set to 2. It was at 1, but I just set it to 2 right now. And then I'll just do it again to 3, and I can just keep doing that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
again, I can
Cool.
actually choose what I'm comparing it with up here. Single family, all years, it doesn't matter the solds. And then I can go in here and I can really get down on the specifics. I can do townhouse and that type of stuff. I can look at close dates. I can change the years built. I can do a year range if I think that would be preferred. And then that'll give me new builds and other stuff like that. And it'll get rid of some of the older ones.
Does it do square footage?
Does actually, it should on, especially on the US one.
Okay, can I interject something?
Yes.
Okay. I've probably done 6 listing presentations with this.
Mhm.
And it is so much easier to go into MLS, get your comps, because especially like in your retirement communities, there's not enough analytics in here to be able to dial it down to where you want it. So I go in and I find my comps first, and then where it says manual, you put them in there.
That's actually
And I
really
can
good
get
advice.
close.
And
It just
KV
doesn't-
Core openly admits, so the 2 places that it's pulling from, it's pulling a lot of info from tax stuff in the past, and it openly admits that tax data can actually be unreliable at times. So it is actually a very good point to use MLS data and to use your comps specifically from your MLS. So
I mean, it
great
is a
point.
separate step, but
Yeah,
still,
yeah.
it's much better.
Absolutely. No, and phenomenal advice. And is genuinely, that is advice that KV Core gives itself, because it actually says we pull from tax data for some of this stuff, and tax data can at times be unreliable compared to MLS data, which is much more reliable. So I love it. Yeah. And then I clicked CMA build. You can just skip to presentation if you don't want to go through all this. But then here's where I can do other stuff. So I can go through here and then I can look at the actual comps on the range for it. And then I can see the results for all of them. I can trash the ones that I don't want on here. I see that there's a closed one, so I probably don't need to include it. But I'll just kind of leave it up. But I can delete it if I want to. I can like it. I can add any notes to it on the actual presentation if I want to. And it'll give everybody those notes. Here it gives me the closest active. I can add a note to it and everything. Well, I actually know that house. It gives me a market assessment, so I can look through all this type of stuff. These are great. This is the type of things that your clients really like to see, just because infographics and like quick data are really easy for people to kind of digest. And you guys are really used to looking at the numbers and the data, but your clients aren't necessarily. So when they see stuff like this, that's giving them average prices, it tells like how fast things are selling. That's always really good. And current active shelf life, obviously this has gone up a little bit from 2 years ago or so, where it was on the shelf for an hour if you were lucky. But there's still great data to show, and it still shows that you can actually sell and get everything done relatively quickly.
Alex, can
So
you
this
add
is-
a note so we can see where it shows up later?
Sure. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. There we go. So that'll show. And then once they're actually looking through the comps, again, when they get this page, they'll be able to click on all this. So as Debbie would probably be able to agree, a really cool part about these CMAs and these presentations is that it creates two different versions of it that you can use both versions of them. It creates an actual web version that it'll email and send directly to the clients, and you will get a copy of as well. And it creates a PDF print version of it that you can just print out and you can also take to your clients if you want. So everything that we're doing on here, all of these buttons, everything actually become clickable real things within the presentation that the client is able to utilize and click on. And again, I can just keep adding stuff here. I can enter my own price or price ranges. I can continue looking at the trends and stuff, so I can add different parts of it. Here's some of those extra features that we were talking about. As of right now, it's only going to be showing active and pending. I can also look at the closed. It's giving me estimates that I can look up. I can manually add some. And then it's giving me any other type of weird outliers that I might want to add to it. So let's say this looks good. I can save it for later and come back to it, but I'm actually just going to click create presentation.
Alex, can I ask a question?
Of course.
You know the way sometimes we make adjustments. You know, like if there's a very fancy backyard or pool, or if there's a very fancy bathroom or something, can you make it? Does that get covered by the notes, or it actually will go into the monetary part of it?
Is this for if you're for like a presentation on like the house that you're looking to present for, you want to highlight their special features that they might have?
No, it's more if you're comparing, if you're comparing, you're comparing other houses to it, you can see that it's got, more than, I guess it is that, but also it could be the other, that they have things that your house doesn't have.
I would say I don't think that there's a specific page that you can add for it, but you are able to add your own pages. So that's one of those things that if you have some type of an amazing feature that is actually only in the house, maybe you have a house with a theater. It happens sometimes, something like that. Maybe you've got a house that has a personal built-in theater room. You're obviously going to get some great photos of it and everything when you're doing all the listing photos and everything. So I would actually take like one of those photos and then I would just create a really nice graphic for it that just highlights that specifically. Be like, oh, this is a 200-person seated room that you're not going to find elsewhere, or 100-person, whatever. And then I would highlight it specifically and then add it into this. And this is actually where you're able to add stuff. So I can go in here and I can see every single page. This is, Christy, to your point, this is where I can actually go through and I can edit stuff on here. And I can also add slides. So if I hit that add slide button, it will show me all the auto-generated ones that it's already got. I can do what's my home worth ones and stuff like that. And then there is actually a way to add manual ones up here. So these are just examples of all the ones that are created for you. There is just so many.
Is there an option to insert your own PDF and have it inserted? Yes.
Yes. It has to be an image, so it's not going to be a PDF one.
Right.
But you are definitely able to add your own customized slides.
Awesome.
And then so again, I can go through here. I can delete any of these slides. I can change the orders of them. For the changing the orders on auto, they can change. It's always going to start at default, but you can do contingent. You can do I'm shopping with you, and then these have actual themes that they're helping you change it for. So for this seller, it's not a question of timing or value. This seller is committed to sell. They're just trying to choose the right agent. So this will put you forward because they already know that they want to sell. So then this will highlight the things that are different about you as an agent compared to the specifics of the comps. Versus the make me list is going to be looking at more of the comps and looking at the time on market and all that type of stuff. So we can choose the theme or the emphasis that we like. And then again, there's a couple of different themes that are already automatically loaded up. But the luxury actually looks pretty nice. It gives it a nice, really clean look to it. And then I can actually change the type of presentation. So here's a CMA, or I can just do a single page if there was one that I just really wanted to highlight one single part of it. Change this back to modern.
Will it always be in landscape, Alex, or can you do portrait?
It's pretty much always going to be in landscape because it looks at it like essentially
slideshow.
all of it's born from slideshows. Exactly.
Right.
Everybody used to do these back in the day on PowerPoint and everything like that. So it's just somehow naturally evolved to the auto-generated versions of it are also still slideshows. But yeah, so then I can go through, I can again check on all of these, make sure that they're good. I can change parts of it. I can make sure my buttons are correct and all my info is correct. I can also click on things and it'll show me how the hyperlinks on it are working.
So question, if you wanted to add your own slide, we're gonna have to do it that way. We can't like just do it in like an 8.5 by 11 or something picture. It's gonna have to be in the landscape, not the portrait.
Correct. Yeah. But when you actually do the PDF version of it, it does change it to, so this is where I was mentioning web. So the web, it's looking at it like it's a more traditional PowerPoint presentation. But if I click on the PDF one, then it actually takes it and it turns it into more a 8.5 by 11. And it's still giving me all the comps and all the comparables and everything like that. It's just not going to be as clickable because it's going to be mostly printed out. And then again, I can change the theme for it. I'm going to keep it to web. Let's pretend I like it. It looks pretty good. I can add some more color social marketing plan stuff. So this is a great one. As we know, KV Core has lots of automated marketing and a lot of marketing power behind it. So we can include stuff like that. And then I can actually just go through and look at all these again. I'll hit add, and then I'll add them where I want them to. And then I'm going to click present and share. So this is the final page of, let's pretend that this is done. And then I have a couple options for this. So I can download and print it, and that'll again give me both versions of it. So then I can print the PDF and do whatever I want with it. I can add videos to it. So a video link is a great idea if you might have an older client that isn't used to clicking through things like this on their own. So you can then attach a video to it of yourself explaining how to do it, and then maybe mentioning when you get done with the presentation, I would love to hear your thoughts. Kind of giving them a little call to action. If you know this isn't a client that is for sure going to be going with you and you're going to be working with them, you can add a listing agreement link to the end of it. And then at the end, it will prompt them to click on it and then they can sign the listing agreement. You can create a bit more of an open presentation. You can add net sheets, all of that type of stuff. The save and add client, if I do that, then I can sit and I can actually add myself or whatever client I'm sending it to, and then it'll specifically save it and send it to them. This is again for, it kind of switches over when I click back to the generic one. And then this copy button for down here, this actually takes me to the page of it. So I am able to copy it and I can look at it and just give out the link as if it was a presentation. But this is especially helpful if you, for whatever reason, want to make a evergreen one about yourself. So if you wanted to do one that is on maybe an old property, or it's just a current property that you are going to be having for a little while, you can use this link then and put it on your website so that you have a forever button on your website that takes them to a CMA presentation. You could also use that as a way to demonstrate what your presentations look like. So you can just have this forever living page right here that while you're going and doing the actual presentation, maybe you don't need to make a new one every time. You just have this forever one that's living on your website. So there's actually a lot of options for it. I'll exit out of that and it'll take me back there. And again, I can keep editing. Yeah.
Can you go over the open presentation again? You said where you can add net sheets, but we could have added net sheets like earlier as a slide, right?
Yes. Correct.
So why would you use open presentation?
This open is just literally you're opening it and viewing it.
Oh, you're just looking at it right there.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Gotcha.
So this is just, it started it. It's a different way, and I can click the open one so I can just view it instead of having click copy and paste and all that type of stuff. But here's where I can look at it. I see the value. I'm clicking through it like it's a normal slideshow. Looks good. And it tells me right up here at the top that everything is still clickable. And this was, again, the smaller one. If you're adding comps, it's giving you every single page, and you can add specific pages to all of them. If you're putting in all the MLS data and it's pulling it better, then it'll be doing that. I can also open the preview right here. So there's a lot of different options for it. This is where I can add my YouTube video if I want to. I'm going to go ahead and add myself to it. There we go. So now it's been sent to me, and I will see it soon.
So Alex, can I
Mhm.
ask a little question? You
Of
know the
course.
way normally when we do a CMA, it comes up with, and I'm looking at this on my phone, so please excuse me if I just can't see it, it's so small. But with the CMA, it gives you, a suggested price and all that stuff. Does it do
Mhm.
any of that, or does this just purely show you the comparable properties?
It'll ask you, I think, manually to do a lot of them. It will look at like tax records and stuff like that. And again, it can suggest it, but it's going to want you to do the manual one at the end just to make sure that it's giving you the best option for it. And it's going to be a little bit different again if you're doing it with actually all the MLS data correctly set up. Mine just wasn't working because it, for whatever reason, thinks I'm in Canada. But I can see now that it's set up on me already, and I can go in here and I can just update and resend it again. And again, I can go through here and actually set it up directly in the CMA builder.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. What do you guys think of it?
That's very handy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry, that's the listening machine.
Can you add a video slide?
I don't know if it
You're
would.
talking to the client, or you're inserting like a YouTube video where you showcase the property in the past. Can you insert a video anywhere?
It has the insert the video option. I believe it would be immediately before the slide actually starts. I'll just go back to the one that I just made because I can just edit it at the end of it. And then let's see, hopefully it was this one. Yeah. So I'll click on it. It's just showing me it. Let me update it. There, I'll just do a fast one. But yes, so that was the add video link button at the end of it. It wants a YouTube or like a Google link type of thing. So because of that, you can absolutely put a property video up on YouTube and then just share it. And then it would play before it. So if you had a video for the property that you were trying to show, that would be perfect.
Okay.
Cool. Any other questions?
Was that the same page as where you could choose open presentation and
Yes.
create oh, that's in there. Okay.
Yep. It says insert video, and then it just wants a video link. So it just wants either a YouTube link or a Dropbox link, that type of thing.
So in theory, it would play the whole presentation and then play the video at the end?
It would most likely be before it, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. What do we think? How are we feeling? Lynette, are you able to follow along? Are you sending a CMA to anybody?
I'm following along, and I'm just I think I'm kind of the particular neighborhood is like Red Mountain Ranch. So there's some homes in that area that are very zhuzhed up. Like,
You're having to do a lot of manual because
I think I'm gonna
comps
have
on
to
it.
do it. I think I'm gonna have to do it manually, which is
Got it.
fine. I use Cloud CMA right now, so I like this because especially for my analytical folks, it'll be great.
Yep.
I just need to play around with it a little bit more and
figure
and I like what sorry, I was like going back to Christy. What Christy was saying, like, so a lot of times when I'm doing these, I'll share my screen like on a BombBomb video. So I'm trying to figure out, like, is there a way we can just get the link to the CMA and then input it into an email like with our BombBomb video?
Yeah, that would be, remember I hit that copy link button, which let's see if it's still copied. Yeah, so I actually have it still copied. So here, that link that I copied just has the CMA on it. So all I did was hit copy or paste with this. And it's the CMA that I made earlier. So you utilize BombBomb quite a bit. You could absolutely create a video on BombBomb and then just put this link on it and then it'll include it with it.
Yeah, because I like to show where I get the comps from, and then I also, throw in the Altos report
Mm-hmm.
and and then I also do like the showing time reports. However, we're going to Align, and Align doesn't have those reports, so I have to reach out to them. In fact, I just wrote that down to add it to my list to reach out to them to see if they can put something in there
Gotcha.
about pulling those reports. Yeah.
I like it. I feel like I'm still going to have to do like pull in MLS and RPR and this to kind of make a presentation all together. Because RPR does what Sandra was talking about, where you can take a comp and if the comp is really crappy flooring compared to yours, you can adjust the price for it. So I feel like I'm still going to have to use all three, but this is so polished. It's so pretty.
It's very polished, and the ease of the creation of it is the ease of creation when you're using it is really, really nice. Just the parts of it that it just automatically creates that are clickable, the changing of the themes, the ordering of the pages, and all that type of stuff are really great. I haven't personally run into any CMA builder where I don't have to do some type of a manual manipulation for it. This is the one that I've used, that I've run into, that I have to do the least for. Because if it basically is just adding some MLS numbers or adding some property numbers, that's way easier than like when I was using Toolkit and I was having to create like entire pages and stuff like that for it.
And Alex, you can omit any page in this presentation that you don't like?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, so when I was going through on the builder for it, I'll just do my address again, I guess. Oh no, it doesn't like it because it's got me stuck in Canada when I get to the screen. But yeah, so when you are going through and it's actually showing the order of all the pages on it, you're able to click delete on any of them. And remember how I hit add page and it showed me all the other pages that I could add? Yeah, so I'm able to change any of the orders of it, delete any of the ones that are in there, add any of the automated ones, as well as add any of my manual ones that I've done. And I have a lot of great pages to actually show you guys and give after the presentation. So I'll give you a Dropbox that's got little things like, are you able to see my PDF, or is it just on Core Present still?
4%.
Got it. Okay, that's what I figured.
So in theory, you could take the link from your finished listing presentation and add it to your KV Core website somewhere as a block,
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely. So I've got a bunch of like little helpful tips and tricks for it with this. So it talks about the different types of clients that we've got, what the marketing tiles are for, and what they kind of look like. And there's just different ways to customize and stuff like that. So I've got a bunch of helpful tips and tricks pages that I'll share with you guys. And there is also a very good, let's see, how would I describe this? It is, their actual page for it is very good. So if I go here, there's just tons of frequently asked questions. It's got overviews, it's got graphics that are helpful with it, it's got a platform overview for it, and it's got the quick start and all that type of stuff. So I'll make sure that I share these with you because these are great little resources to click on while you're making this stuff.
And I saw the word logo just flash by, but can I add my individual logo to every page so it can't be copied?
Yeah, so there's actually a section where it says secondary logo that you can add your logo to, and then it'll actually be on every page automatically. So you won't have to add it. Again, for whatever reason, it's just stuck in Canada for me this morning. So they don't have quite as many features as we do. But yeah, so that when you're going through the editing process, that's like one of the first questions, because it'll automatically add our logo to it, and then it'll give you a space for a secondary one that you can put yours on.
Alex?
And yes, Mary, I was going to say, you have your hand up.
Yes, I have I'm kind of following along and doing one while we're talking. And so for one thing, and a lot of the adult communities, whether or not it's a golf course lot is a big deal. Well, is there a way to add more, like not property type, but like more criteria?
Yeah, that would be some of the outlier stuff, I think. So I know what you're talking about. And actually, that's a really common request that they did not have before, but they're currently working on for us.
And I think we've talked also like in normal neighborhoods, normal like single level or 2-story, that's another big deal to
Yes.
people sometimes. And, pool or no pool, and, what kind of fence and all that good stuff.
That's
absolutely.
that's why I go into MLS and do it, because I can do
agree.
it. Yeah, I can do it 5 minutes in MLS. I can put all those specifics in there. And then
Right.
it takes a few more minutes, but it dials it down in. You can't do that on this.
I
Yeah,
think
and that's because, so that goes back to where it launched in Canada first, and the need for golf courses and pools and two-story homes
Yeah.
was a lot less than it is here. And when they came into the US after Canada, they got obviously just an influx of new houses and different types of people and stuff like that. And then also when they actually got Remax as a client, they got a ton of new people that would then also had all their own specifics for stuff that they need. So because of that, they now are adding a whole bunch of stuff to it that they didn't know that they needed it to add before. And pools, golf courses, and the stories of the house is actively being added to this, the market reports, and I believe to the details of the contacts as well. It's something that we all have requested in everything that we need with this program, because nobody knows how important golf courses are until they go to Arizona and California, Nevada and Utah. And then you realize that they're all over the state.
Well, and
Cool.
you can still do your research on the MLS, write all your write down the addresses or MLS numbers, and then pull them in and put everything in manually, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so you could do it that way too. Okay.
Cool. So do we have more questions? I did want to kind of show you guys Design Center just a little bit because it just kind of popped in. And it's got a lot of cool stuff going for it. Some of you guys that have gotten listings recently, you might have actually gotten your graphics kit from it. Can any of you guys confirm that? Have you gotten a
I've gotten
asset
one.
kit with it? You got it? How does it look? How is everything?
It looked really good. I had flyers, um, postcards.
Mhm.
It basically gave me an email that said, like, you have assets, you have
Yep.
KV Core assets.
Cool. Yeah. So this has replaced Megaphone. It does everything that Megaphone used to, and then a lot more. It doesn't do the 7 days of free advertising like Megaphone did, but it still immediately sends you all of your assets and all of your graphics that it makes. The first thing that I recommend doing, so anytime you get into one of these new pages or new sections, and I actually regret not saying to do it earlier. So we'll go ahead and I'm going to go back to core present. Oh, it's because it opens a new thing. The settings for all these are really good to familiarize yourself with. So when you're playing in KV Core and you get into a new section, the first thing that you should do is actually go up here onto the right-hand side and check out their settings for a lot of this stuff. So this is where I can actually click like customize my about me section. I can customize each of the types of presentations. Your about me shows up in your CMAs, so I can further personalize it. It's going to just naturally pull because we're Remax agents. Everything is pulling from Max Center automatically. So in theory, you shouldn't really have to do much. But Christy, here is where we mentioned adding that secondary logo. So I can actually just click this button, upload my logo, and then hit save. I can also choose different types of kind of auto-generated text that it's giving me. Or maybe I don't want it to include the image and stuff like that. So this is where you can actually do a lot of your customizing and everything in here. And it's like this for a lot of it. So if I go in here, I can do the different types of themes and I can add other slides and stuff like that. See, add a slide right there.
Where do we
Them to
find
move
this?
us. So this is when I'm actually in the core present, this is still the CMA builder. This is actually just these buttons up on the right-hand side right here. And these are very helpful buttons for every section in KV Core, because whenever you click on a new section of it, it pretty much always is going to give you your settings up here on the right. So I can see right here, it's got the mobile app and behavioral settings. This is just in my marketing. But when I'm in core present here, this is where I'm actually able to add my highly customized slides. So I can just update, I can even make my own. And I can just do it directly into there. I can preview it, upload your content right here on the bottom left, Christy. So I can just add graphics to it and then continue changing parts of it. So the settings are always very helpful in KV Core because it's where a lot of the personalizing comes in. I can also see my tracking and my results. And then this will take me to those frequently asked questions pages that I mentioned. So again, when you come into here, you can start playing around with it. You can create presentations and just save them and not send them off to anybody or anything like that. You can create new presentations. I can completely delete some. So I'll just delete these. Delete, delete. Because it's quick. The idea of it is that you want to like these, but you don't need to be worried about losing them. We'll just create a new one really quick. We can send them directly to the people, all that type of stuff. But yeah, anytime you're going into KV Core, these settings sections are very important because they help you a lot. Oh, Christy, that's a great idea. So she asked if anybody wanted to meet next Tuesday or Wednesday and do a core listing type of day. And actually, I'm going to be coming back. We kind of quieted for me for some of my in-person classes for this because we had a lot of guest speakers in the last like month or two, which I'm sure you guys probably noticed. We had Rock Thomas come in. We had what Verl come in, I think the like month before that, all that type of stuff. So we've had a lot of guests come in. So I had to kind of take a little bit of a back seat with some of this stuff because we wanted everybody to be able to go to the other classes. But I'm going to be coming back in and we'll be doing a bunch of those little like kind of group sessions that we like to do because those always end up really good. So don't worry, I'll be setting up another one, Christy. We'll do one for this specifically where we can just set it up. And I would love if you guys make a presentation at some point, maybe this week or toward the next week or so, and send it to me. That would be great. If any of you guys want to are able to make a CMA and send it to me on this, I'd love to take a look at it. I'd love to offer any feedback and any help or anything like that. And then again, I will be doing some upcoming group classes where we can check out things like this, and then we'll actually go deeper on Design Center. Because I don't, those are two very big things that we can just, each one will do one. But I wanted you guys to know that Design Center and Core Listing Machine are out there and active now. So you can go through and you can start looking at all of the flyers that create for it and everything like that. And it's the same type of thing. If I were to click on any of these, I can make it for everything that I need to. I can add a secondary agent. I can choose branding on it. I can download it, all of that type of stuff. So they're just two great little places that you can kind of play around with. They're very helpful tools that really kind of elevate the look of your business because it gives it a very professional, very high quality look. And again, if I go in here, I just want to click on settings because this is where I can do things like I can see my disclaimer settings and video settings. I can change my fonts. I can add graphics and things like that. So I can add other logos and stuff. Everything in KV Core has a lot of automation, as we know. A big plus of it that we all like is that it pre-makes a lot of stuff for us, and that's a very helpful tool. But you are able to go in here and actually personalize all the parts that it pre-makes for you. You don't have to. It gives you great ones right off the bat, but it is an option for you to do. What are we thinking? How are we all feeling? Good? What do you think, Lynette?
Fire hose.
I know it's a lot. So I want you guys to just focus on Core Present and just play around with it for a week or two. Go in here, maybe if you want to add like a spouse or a friend or somebody like that, you can do it directly into their contact and you can just send it to them, see what it looks like, and then you can have somebody that can send it back to you type of thing. Go into the actual Core Present here in marketing. And just make a generic one or maybe make an office listing one. If you don't have a current listing of your own, just grab one of the office listings or a team listing and just make one up and play with it. Again, there's a lot you can customize, but at the same time, they want you to be able to just hit make and then it's just made for you and ready to go. So it can be, it's one of those things, it can be a fire hose if you go too far, but we want it to just be more like a faucet or just an easy drip. But I totally understand. It's one of those things that it just looks, the screen looks like it has a lot going on. But once you realize what each of those buttons do, it gets a little bit easier. And my favorite advice, as you guys always hear me say, it's just like going to the gym. You're not going to go there for 8 hours and thinking that you're going to come out feeling like a superstar. You're just going to hurt yourself and not want to go back. Same with this. Go in here. The CMA builder shouldn't take, I don't want you, any of you sitting on one of these for more than like a half hour at a time. Even if you have to do some manual adding and stuff to it, this page will stay up and you can actually save. So I think you saw when I was going through and creating the presentation, there's a save button at the bottom left of it the whole time. So we can save them and come back to it. So don't think that you'll lose any of this type of stuff forever or anything like that. We just want to be able to familiarize ourselves with it, get a little bit more comfortable, and then you'll want to start customizing it. Christy, once you send one of these off, you'll probably be like, okay, I want to go in there now and I want to add my special slides. I want to add my secondary logo so that it's got my logo popping up on everything. I know all you guys are great at customizing like your about me's and your profiles and that type of stuff. A lot of you have logos that would be great to add. So I think you'll enjoy a lot of it once you just play and kind of click around a little bit. And again, you'll realize you won't break anything. And you'll have to actively hit send to somebody and you'd have to already put all their info in. So you're not going to be sending it off to anybody that you don't want to send it off to unless you're really trying to.
So if I make one and customize it for a certain client and add a bunch of my stuff in and then end up loving it, can I use that? Can I basically take that first initial one and copy it or use it as a template for moving forward and then just tweak it for another individual client?
Yeah, absolutely. And you can do things so since it has it kind of pre-created, I can go in here and I can hit update and then just change a whole bunch of parts of it. So I can see right here that I can change parts that I don't want, or I can leave them the same. Or if there's only like a specific page to it that I like, I might just click the PDF button and then just maybe save that PDF page and then add it to the next one that I'm creating type of thing. So yeah, there's a lot of options for continued use of an individual CMA or just the builder in general. Again, the idea with it is that you shouldn't have to be doing so much that you're saving it and pulling other ones. And so they want you to feel comfortable enough that you can just build it directly into here, maybe upload a page that you need, and then it hits send. And I mentioned all of the branding. So here's all my branding that it automatically puts on it. Apparently my photo is very old. There's just more of the comp details, all that type of stuff.
So is the photo the one that populates from our Remax page? Is that what pops in there?
Yeah, any of the photos of the actual listing and everything like that are going to come directly from MLS. So it pulls all your specific listing data and some of the comp data from MLS. And then
I'm sorry,
it pulls.
I meant our profile picture. Where is that pulling from?
Yeah, this is all from Mac Center. So because it's part of KV Core, everything that's automated, like our photos, our about me profile, and like our things like my email and my phone number and my website and all that type of stuff, it just automatically populates it from Mac Center. That's why the first thing that we do at a lot of our classes is make sure that our Mac Center is still up to date with everything that we want with all of our contact info and our photos and stuff like that. Because then it goes through to everything. Cool. Thanks, guys. So I know that was a little bit, but I think you guys really got the hang of it. And again, it'll just be playing around, and absolutely feel free to send me any and immediately reach out with anything that you might need.
Quick question.
Yeah.
So does it still take a week for them to populate on the main street? You know, like your picture or things about you. Used to take a little, like about a week to update all that information.
Like if you change like your profile photo and stuff like that?
Yes.
No, it should only take about a day at the most nowadays.
Okay.
Yeah, it should be everything. So if you change something in Mac Center, it should take between 24 and 48 hours to update on the KV Core side.
Okay.
Cool.
Awesome.
Any other questions? Hopefully I didn't scare anybody. Again, feel free to reach out. And I would love if you guys can send me a CMA. by the end of the week. If you just make one and download it, or if you want to actually just email it to me, any of that type of stuff, I'd love to check it out. I like seeing how you guys play around with this stuff, and I like seeing how you work it. And again, I will send a follow-up email that Cindy actually mentioned that you wanted to watch the recording for this. So I will send a follow-up email that includes the recording for the class, as well as those pages that I mentioned and those frequently asked questions, graphics, and stuff like that. Cool. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. I think it's what, Thursday, right? Get out there and sell something, as Nate would say, and then everybody have a great weekend.
You
You
too.
too. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Alex.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.